to the Carla Knits podcast. Today is Tuesday, January 9th, and I'm coming to you from a very snowy day here in Nebraska where I live. Today's video will be different from my usual podcast. I am making a series of 3 videos focusing on my Make 9 grids for 2024. So Amy of Noble Character Crafts hosts a year-long make-along on Instagram, and I believe the hashtag is Make 9 2024 Mal. And the idea is to make a grid of 9 projects that you would like to make, and works in progress can count. I could not limit myself to 9 projects because I'm crazy that way. So I actually have 3 different boards. The first board is my WIP board, or that's works in progress, which I will post here. So that is 9 different projects that are already have work begun on them, and some of them pretty significant work, and that I would like to finish or at least put some significant progress into this year. The second in the series will be my Make 9 of new projects, brand new projects that I would like to cast on or crochet this year. And then the third video will be strictly socks, because if you've been here a while, you know how much I love to knit socks. So today's video will be focusing on my Make 9 board of my WIPs for 2024. So first on the board is the Betangled Chalette by Jennifer Weissman. And I had to go back in Ravelry to see when I actually began some of these projects. Some I do have notes on, some I don't. I was surprised. I cast this on August 19th of last year, 2023. This pattern was gifted to me for my birthday by my friend Lois, who is an in-person knitting friend. Hi, Lois. And so she gifted this pattern to me for my birthday, and she also has the pattern herself. We went to one of our local yarn stores. It happens to be Knit Paper Scissors in Lincoln, Nebraska, and we both picked out the same kind of yarn, although different colors. And the yarn for this project is Rowan Felted Tweed in the French mustard color for mine. This is where I am on this project. So if you watched my last podcast, I had made some significant progress, and my last podcast just came out last week. And then I have worked the last several days, and this is where I was after I recorded, and so I have worked this amount. So I am at a little more than the halfway point. I absolutely love the look of these cables. This pattern, I cannot say enough good things about. It is one of the most well-written patterns I have ever seen, and so clear and so easy to follow. The one thing I don't enjoy about this probably is the large cable. It's a 12/12 cable, and so that gets a little tight. So that row and then the next row just feel a little tight on the needle, but it doesn't come up too often, and it really is a beautiful cable. So it is well worth it. I have 3 skeins of Rowan Felted Tweed, and I finished one. I have this much left of my second one, so not too much, and then I will join the third one in shortly. So just over the past several days, I feel really good about the progress I've made, and I'm enjoying it so much. When I started it and was just doing it really sporadically, I would have to keep looking back and forth at the pattern and really concentrate with no distractions. Now this is something I can do at night while we are watching TV. So I really like this, and I'm going to focus, put some really good focus into getting this one complete. and that is living in a bag, an Alice in Wonderland bag by Speckled Red. It has that blue and white lining inside. And thank you to the viewer of the podcast that shared that Speckled Red also has a podcast on YouTube. I haven't had a chance to check that out, but I certainly will be doing that. So that is project number 1. Project number 2, I had not even made a Ravelry page for this, so I was not sure when I even started. And I actually had to go back through a few episodes to see when I started, or listen to myself tell when I started this next project. So the second project is the Love Note sweater by Tin Can Knits. This is a very popular knitting pattern. Probably most of you have heard of that. And this is actually my second love note that I am making. So the first one I completed in, I think, a little over 3 weeks. It was a very quick knit, and there's no reason why this can't be a quick knit. But I started this particular one on September 21st of 2023. And I have put work on it since you last saw it on the podcast, so I will go ahead and show you. This is where I showed it, or that's where I was the very last time that I shared this project on the podcast. So I am just about ready to add that ribbing in. I guess the thing that is a holdup for me right now is that I want to try it on to see if it's at a decent length that I like. The colors together I'm absolutely loving. And this yarn is by the Conifer Collective, and it's called Desert Cardinal. And I got this from Maker and Stitch, which is a yarn store in Colorado. That was something I had ordered online. And then this beautiful mohair is by Up North Yarns in the Midnight at the Oasis colorway. So I'm holding both strands together to create this fabric, and I am really excited. I just need to go ahead. You know, at nighttime I don't feel like, you know, putting this on a barber cord or putting it on spare yarn or whatever, so I just need to take, you know, an afternoon and probably do that, see where I'm at, get that ribbing done, and then get the sleeves working. So this is what I have left to finish the body and to do the sleeves. So my other one, I did get at least like bracelet length sleeves, so I'm hoping for that. Otherwise I may just make it short sleeved. I intended to make a larger size than last time, but I must have been really tired when I cast on, because I'm actually making the same size, but I went up a needle size. So we're gonna see how this turns out. Yeah, but again, this one is so very close. I really want to get this finished. I normally do not like to keep sweaters on the needles that long. I don't like to leave projects that that unfinished. So I really want to do this. This bag is so pretty. Canvas with have a suede, or no, this is a waxed canvas on the bottom. And this is by, it looks like Heidi West, if I have that right. I don't know if you can see that tag, Heidi West. And this is a shop on Etsy, and I absolutely love it with the leather straps, and it has a snap to close it if you want to. So this is just a really pretty bag. So that has my love note in it. So I feel like those two projects are really my big focus right now. I'm enjoying doing that Betangled Chalette, so that one's going to keep going. So will I finish that one before I get back to the love note? I haven't fully decided, but those two I'm really anxious to get accomplished. The third item on my Make Nine WIP board is the Warm Welcome Baby Blanket. This is a pattern by Jess Coppom of Make and Do Crew. I started this blanket on December 23rd, and I'm happy to say I finished this blanket on January 7th of 2024. So this is one success on my Make Nine WIP board that I have complete. So the original blanket shows it in 6 colors, but I used 4. It is a DK weight blanket, and I used Premier Basix DK yarn, 4 colorways. So aqua, white, I think powder blue, and then frost for the gray. And I just increased the number of rows per section because I was only doing 4 colors. So I made 18 rows per section. And I absolutely love how this turned out. It has been washed. I did wash it on a gentle cycle and dried it on a delicate cycle. And it is so soft. This is going to be a gift for my nephew to be born at the end of this month. This is my youngest brother, David, who is expecting his 4th child. So I knew I wanted to start it in December and finish in January, but I was, very motivated just to crank that out. So really happy, very fun pattern, a chevron crochet. I should say this is a crochet pattern. So for me, crochet works up much faster. But I'm really happy to have this to gift to my brother David and his wife Natalia for their newest little one. So that's the first success on my WIP board. So that feels really good. All right, moving on. I should say, I think on my WIP board there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blankets. So that's kind of a lot of blankets, but 1 is done now, so I'm down to 4 blankets. But number 4 spot on my grid is the Creative Advent Throw by Carla Knits. This pattern came out for the Advent season of 2022 to be used with either fingering weight minis or DK weight minis. And I did start this project in December. This is a knitting project, a knitted blanket, and there are 3 different squares or 3 different patterned squares in this blanket. I did not purchase an Advent last year to specifically make this blanket. I bought on Etsy, I bought a set of DK weight minis from Dylot Studio. That's who it is. And it was, I think it was one of her Rhinebeck kits. So it was very fall autumnal colors, but I really liked it. So I will share with you the squares that I have complete. So that is one of the patterns of the blanket. Here is that different, so a little bit more textured with, I can't remember what they called it, bubble stitch, or that doesn't sound right, but there is a special little name they call that little bumpy stitch on there. Again, that's like the first one, so just a basic. So I really love these colors. So I believe I have 24 minis to work from. I don't have 24 of them made. Oh, I guess this one is different because it has some of the ridges in there. So that's the third different one. There's another bumpy one. I hope these are showing up okay and that I'm not going too fast. Obviously, these have not been blocked or anything, so they're a little they're a little curly on the edges. But the original blanket calls for 24 minis, and it actually made, looking at the project page, it actually made a very small throw, which I I would say at best would be a baby blanket. So I am going to add to this blanket. So I do have some extra minis that I will be adding in. I purchased some Emma's yarn in 2022 to add to this blanket, but I have not worked on this blanket since December of 2022. So I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17 squares done. So that means 7 more from my mini kit from Dylot Studio. And then I have some more to add in. Or some more to knit with other minis. And then I'm going to see where I am at after that and see how big I want to make it. It's not going to be a big blanket. It's definitely going to be a throw, and probably on the smaller size, because these squares take a significant amount of time. But I'm glad I did it in the DK weight, because I know knitting this in fingering weight, would take even longer. So I had actually debated in 2023 about abandoning this project, but I'm not ready to do that. I do like it enough that I want to continue. So I hope to make some progress on this scrappy blanket this year. All right, number 5 is probably one of my longest standing WIPs ever, and I've shared it on the podcast before. This is the Coziest Memory Blanket by Kemper Wray of Junk Yarn, and I can't even remember when I started it. It could be 2016 or 17. I mean, it goes back a way, but it is super pretty. I love the idea. This is a mitered square blanket using fingering weight yarns. And it is so fun using fingering weight yarns from leftover projects and revisiting them and seeing them in this blanket and just remembering, oh, that was a pair of baby socks. Oh, that was a shawl for my mom. Oh, that was a pair of socks for, you get the idea. So very special. But each square does take me a while. I know some people are really fast knitters and can crank out the squares like nobody's business, but it is not a fast going process for me. In 2023, at the beginning of the year, I was really good about doing Knitty Natty's 30 minutes a day, which is to focus on a project for 30 minutes a day. Sorry, I think I'm getting yarn in my lips, or on my lips. So to focus on a project 30 minutes a day for a month. And so I did put a number of squares on this blanket in January, maybe into a little bit of February last year. But since then, it got tucked away. So I would like to somehow put this blanket into a rotation of sorts to put some more love into this, to add some more squares. I have 2 drawerfuls of fingering weight yarn scraps. So a lot that can be added into this. So I just need to sit down and do it, and maybe go back to that 30 minutes a day. And if it's slow progress, that's okay. That's better than no progress. So that is my Cozy Memories blanket. So lots of blankets. Yeah, I've got another scrappy blanket project coming up in this too. So I think I really enjoy them. I know I really enjoy starting them. I really enjoy the look of them, but they are an ongoing project, and that's okay. All right, number 6 is not even my project, but I'm going to continue it. I did share this on the podcast. I believe it was probably, maybe I shared it again in 2023, but it was probably a couple of years ago. This project is an Afghan that my husband's grandma Marie started. I don't know when she started it, but it comes from this book. This is Arts Afghans to Treasure. It says 8 designs. So there are some knit and some crochet designs. This is the one that she was working on. It's called Aran to Knit. So an Aran weight yarn. The copyright date on this is 1989. So I can only imagine when she started it. I really don't know. She is no longer with us, and I, was the lucky recipient of some of her knitting supplies and some of her yarns and some of her projects, which, is just so special to me. But let me show you the blanket. And Grandma Marie has really put a lot of work into this. Let me see which side is the right side. I don't know for sure. I think this way. We'll see. So this is the blanket, and you can see she has a lot done on it. So I would say it's probably 2/3 of the way done. There are some beautiful cables in here. There are some lace panels in here. There is some double seed stitch going on. And I just think these needles are so fun. I have not tried to knit with these needles. Does anybody remember these needles? I haven't been knitting that long. Since 2013 I've been knitting, so I don't really know much about these needles. They're kind of funky, so I am going to put my own metal needles in here. And it called for, what size? It called for a size US 10.5. But when I looked at my 10.5 and compared it and then measured it on my little gauge, this was definitely, what was it? It was not a 10.5. It was a different size. I can't remember what it was now. So whatever size this is, I am going to use that for the remainder of the blanket, but on metal needles. I definitely prefer knitting on metal needles. The yarn that she is using is, you can see how old this is. So it's Wintuk 4 by Karen. Do some of you remember this? It was $1.69 when she bought it. It says 100% Monsanto acrylic worsted weight yarn, moth proof. That's good. The colorway is medium federal blue. So besides the attached skein, I think I have 3 skeins of this left. The pattern is going to be challenging. She does have little markings in here, which I don't know if you can see. There's little numbers by different rows. And the thing about this pattern is you have to follow different written instructions. So there's a pattern for the double seed stitch. There's a pattern for the cable portion. There's a pattern that's called the twist. There's a pattern for trees. So I don't know if I flashed it too fast, but there are some trees in this section here. So a tree section, and I said the lace, and they don't necessarily correspond at the same time. For example, the cable row pattern is 16 rows. The twist portion is 24 rows. The lace portion is 8 rows. So you kind of have to keep referring back and figuring out where you're going. So I'm guessing she must have had some kind of paper with her to keep a tally, how she was going. But I did take time to, I studied the last knitted row on here to figure out, what she did. And then I was able to figure out where I am at in the pattern. So for example, I need to start on row 3 of the seed stitch pattern, row 13 of the cable, row 11 of the twist section, row 11 of the tree, and row 3 of the lace. So I'm going to try. I would love love, love to finish this and, you know, gift this to my husband, Jeff. I think it would mean a lot to him, and it would be really special to have a blanket, you know, that his grandma had worked on too. So, but it's going to take some concentration. Just, I mean, I don't think any of the knitting itself is hard, but just keeping track of all those sections. So that is another blanket on my WIP board. I will set this aside. All right. I couldn't find it on Ravelry, the blanket, anywhere, and probably because it's too old, but yeah, it's in this Leisure Arts book, and it's Leaflet 870, in case anyone is interested in that. The crochet version looks like it would be beautiful as well. Aran to crochet. So very lovely. All right, 3 more to go. The next one is a garment. So I don't have a whole lot of garments on my Make Nine this year. And maybe that's because, or I should say on my other Make Nine, but that's probably because I have 2 on my WIPs. So I have that Love Note. And then I have the Pik Stout Poncho, which is in this bag by Ginger Root on Etsy, which I don't think she is selling anymore. So Pik Stout Poncho, it's a worsted weight pattern. It's by Thea Coleman. I started this on November 2 of 2023, and I knew I was not going to get far. It was just, I was really excited to cast it on, and I thought, just go ahead and cast it on. So I have not made any progress since I shared it on the podcast back in November. You do 8 inches of ribbing before you go into the body of the poncho. And I like this poncho because of the beautiful cable detail on the front, and also, excuse me, that it has sleeves. I just think that is really, really neat. So I hope I'm going to enjoy it when I finish it. But I really like the look of it. The yarn that I am using is Knit Picks Wool of the Andes, and it is 100% Peruvian Highland wool. It is a worsted weight again, and this color is Lava Heather, and I'm not exactly sure how it comes out, but it's like a chocolatey brown, dark brown with like purpley blue tones in it. It's really, really pretty. And yeah, this is not a typical Carla color. Obviously, I love my pinks. This is a store-bought sweater. So, but I really love this. And I think I was drawn to the brown in the model's sweater for the pattern photo. And I saw this color, and I really like it. I was looking at Knit Picks, and then I wanted to check pattern photos or different photos using this color of yarn and other Knit Picks yarn to see how they looked knitted up, and I really liked this color. So that is a project that I hope to get back to. It's not at the forefront of my WIP board. Again, Love Note and Betangled Shawlette. Those are the ones that are getting the main focus first. All right, another scrappy blanket. If you saw my last podcast or one of the last 2, you know that in the month of December, I crocheted a number of granny squares. So I had 2 12-day Advent swap, 12-day mini skein swaps with 2 people this year, and I had 1 from 2022. And so between the 3 of them, I have crocheted these granny squares, and I used Knitty Natty's pattern. It's the Scrappy Granny on Ravelry. It's a free pattern, and you know, I would like to do it as an Advent swap blanket, but I have so much fingering weight yarn in my stash that I might just keep going with other fingering weight yarns. I just don't know yet. I haven't completely decided if it will be strictly Advent or if it will be just a Scrappy Granny with Advent and mini skeins, or, you know, fingering weight leftovers thrown in. I have, let's see, I have this neutral yarn. I have a couple skeins. Actually, I think I have 3 skeins of this that I'm hoping to use between the squares. I was really trying to find something. I wasn't sure about white. I wasn't sure about cream. I'm still not sure about this, but this is what I probably will do to border them. And this is Blackbird Sycamore yarn in the antique colorway. So I will just share some of these with you quickly. Again, these have not been blocked, but I did, let me just share a couple more. So I do have all of my minis crocheted up from my Advents from 2023 and from my partner in 2022. Oh, isn't that one pretty? So pretty. Love that one too. So much fun. Aren't these great? Yeah, so these are super fun. I mean, so this is a lot of work, and this was really fun. I think I said this on the last podcast. This was such a fun project to work on in the month of December. And I actually crocheted two granny squares each day and really enjoyed it. It was not too much to keep up on. I could have done one a day over the 24 days. That would have made it maybe even more manageable, but I enjoyed it so much that I wanted to do 2 a day, which I did. Again, these are not blocked, but I did purchase on Amazon this blocking board. So I'm really excited to have this so I can block all of the squares, whether it be crochet squared or the knitted squares for that blanket. So I can block them all to a uniform size. You know, fingering weight yarns are different. They have different content. Some are thinner, some are thicker, but having this blocking board will allow me to get them to the most uniform size that I can. So it came with this board, and then it comes with these pins to pin them out. So this is my first time looking at this. So I'm not gonna do too much here, but I'm just gonna put a couple in so you get the idea. All right. So yes, I know that's not perfect, but I'm going to weave in the ends. I'm going to, you know, wet it first, and then I will block it to a uniform size. So I'm very, very happy to have this tool. I think it was around $20 or $22 on Amazon. But I thought with 2 different scrappy blankets with squares, it was probably going to be a good investment to have this, just for ease of blocking. And I thought it would just make the nicest uniform squares. So that is a nice tool that I did get in the month of December. We are at number 9, the final project, the final WIP that I would like to work on in 2024. So if you've been with me before, you might recognize Amelia the duck. And sadly, this duck does not possess clothes. I was a little stunned when I went back to my Ravelry page to see that I started her April 21st of 2022. Oh, I could not believe that. And the poor thing does not have clothes. Let me tell you a little bit about Amelia. This is from the Knitted Animal Friends book by Louise Crowther. It says, over 40 knitting patterns for adorable animal dolls, their clothes, and accessories. And they are so super cute. I mean, I go through here and, you know, I would love to make every single one. They are just super, super cute. Amelia, I think I chose Amelia because, I mean, she's a duck, but I have a goose on my front porch. I know I've shared this recently, so I have a concrete goose on my front porch. So maybe it's something with ducks and goose, but I really liked that. Her outfit is a striped outfit. Let me see if I can get a good page with this on. Excuse me. Here is Amelia the duck in her dress, and she comes with a little purse there. Very, very sweet. So when I finished Amelia, I was kind of over her when I was done knitting her. This was a lot of work. My friend Lois also has this book. She has made 2. Am I right, Lois? I think she's made 2 animals, or maybe, yeah, I think she's made 2. And so she definitely helped me with some of the seaming and attaching of the body parts. So I will tell you, Amelia has been like this, looking up at the ceiling on top of a dresser over there since 2022, which is just sad. But I did start back in 2022. I started her dress, which I love. I love the dark blue and light blue, pop of orange. I absolutely love. But it has a button down the back. So you do have to work this, I don't know. You do have to work this in intarsia, and I started and restarted this thing so many times, and maybe I should give it one more try, but I was definitely not enjoying the process of knitting this dress. Absolutely not. And that's why she has sat naked for almost 2 years. So I was thinking maybe I really like Piggy's clothes. And in fact, I had bought more yarn to make Piggy's clothes to fit on Amelia the duck. So I was thinking about this color for the dress. So, you know, that's a kind of a bright, hot corally pink color. And this is Sheepy's Katona. It's a cotton yarn. And then I would do this color for the sweater. So I'm thinking I would do something like this for the dress. So that's what I am considering doing. You know, I really would love to have that. I would love to have this on her. But if it makes me too crazy, I think I have to go with something else. So stay tuned. This is a priority, probably above like the Pik Stout Poncho or some of the other projects. I at least want to get a dress, one dress on this sweet goose or on this sweet duck. So wish me luck on clothing Amelia for the year. I mean, she is absolutely adorable. Yeah, but she needs clothes, the poor thing. So that brings me to the end of the first video. So my Make Nine 2024 works in progress board. So over the next couple of weeks, I hope to film my Make Nine board of new cast-ons or new crochet projects. And then the third one will be strictly socks on that board. So stay tuned to those, or stay tuned watching for those. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I would love to hear about your plans, knitting or crochet or crafty plans for the year 2024. Are you an organizer where you like to organize your thoughts? You know, all of these plans may go out the window. I very well know that. Right now, it feels really good to kind of have some kind of organization, to have revisited some of these WIPs and think, okay, this is what I want to do with them. That feels good. But again, it could all go out the window, and I will be okay with that. So let me know, are you very organized? Do you know what you want to work on this year, or are you just gonna fly by the seat of your pants and whatever whim strikes you, are you just going to cast on with abandon? That's really fun too. So I would greatly appreciate it if you would subscribe to this channel if you haven't, and give this video a thumbs up. And I look forward to sharing my next Make Nine board with you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.